what's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about 4 levels that your dog always operate in. And the 4 levels are easy to notice, see, and know which direction your dog is operating. The first one is going to be non-responsive. So your dog will be operating in a responsive capacity. So they're not doing too much. The second one is going to be responsive. So the dog is responding back to you as the owner, and if they're responding, you're communicating, and you guys are getting things done. Responsive can be negative too. They could be responding to something else, which comes to the next one is reactivity. Your dog could be operating in a reactivity towards people, dogs, leashes, and other things. So reactivity is basically a trigger for the dog, and they start reacting. And then the last one is going to be recovery. So recovery is basically a term for fear or something that your dog is recovering from. So your dog could be recovering from someone walking up on them real suddenly from behind, and you're spooked. They could be scared of the vacuum cleaner. So recovery and reactivity kind of go hand in hand, depends on how you're layering it, and then you have to be able to separate. All right, so we're gonna get into this video, and then we're gonna talk about all of the levels that your dog operates in so that you can know how to notice it and how to train through it. So you guys stay tuned, and that's what we're about to do.
Woo! Madison Bell German Shepherd.
All right, welcome back, guys. So what we're gonna talk about is the 4 levels that your dog operates in. And the first one, we're gonna start with non-responsive. Non-responsive is just generally your dog is sleeping and they're not responding to anything or anyone, they're just relaxing. Your dog could be just sitting on the couch and they're not responding to anything. You could be in training trying to get your dog to do certain things and they're not responding. So non-responsive just means the dog is not actively doing anything. They're not in fear, they're not excited, they're not angry, they're just not doing anything. We'll move to the next one, which is going to be responsive. So if the dog is responding, you could be in training and you could be giving your dog treats. Your dog is actually responding to you. They're responding to what you're telling them. They're communicating with you. They're understanding the level and the gravity of what you're trying to do with your dog. So they're responding to communication. Also on that, responsive can also be a negative. Your dog could be responding to someone's behavior, or they could be responding to something they're not supposed to be doing, but it can also bleed into the negative category. So, and then we're gonna get right into this one, is reactivity. So reactivity is basically when you leash your dog and they spin around and grab the leash and bite it. You're walking down the street and they see another dog and they begin to bark at that dog because they want to get to that dog. That's pretty much reactivity. Reactivity can be lead into resource guarding. Resource guarding is basically a dog that gets a toy, a treat, or whatever, what have you, their crate, and they guard it. They guard their human from other people. They guard their toys. You can't get it back from them. So that is in reactivity, but that's also a general effect that you'll see if you're working with your dog and you're trying to get them to sit, but every time you add a little pressure to the leash, they start biting the leash. So you're getting reactivity with the leash. You're getting leash reactivity. So that's an example. Reactivity can fall under a lot of different umbrellas, and recognizing which one your dog is in, those levels, you can start working to fix it. And then, it's a thing that a lot of people don't understand when they're looking at a dog. You first have to understand what level is your dog operating at. Are they unresponsive? Are they responsive? Or they have reactivity? Or are they recovery? So that brings us to the last one, and the last one is recovery. Recovery is basically your dog was spooked. Your dog is fearful of a place. Your dog is fearful of a vacuum cleaner. Your dog is fearful of something that spooks them, and they have to recover from it. Some dogs recover quite fast and they forget about it and they move on. Some dogs generally don't recover and they end up having anxiety issues and aggression issues and different things like that. So that's recovery. And normally if you see recovery is if, say like you knock something down in your house and your dog darts off to the other room because they're scared, and they take their time coming back to the living room seeming the coast is clear. Your dog is recovering. They're recovering from the incident. They're recovering from whatever. You'll see all of these forms when you're actually training a dog. You'll always see one of all these forms. So if you're training with your dog and you're trying to give them treats and they're not responding, they're not responsive. If you're training with your dog and all of a sudden they see a squirrel and they run off to the other direction, they have reactivity towards small things. Their prey drive is kicking in. So they're non-responsive, and reactivity with what's going on around them is causing them to not respond to you. Now your dog is in training, you're giving your dogs treats, you're telling them to sit, they're sitting, you're telling them to come, they come to you. They are responding. They are responding to what you're doing with them, and they're understanding what you have going on. You do one action, they do another action. That's responsive. So they're responsive to what's happening. And our final one is you're in protection training and your decoy/helper walks up on your dog to agitate them, to make them aggressive, and your dog hides behind your leg. Your dog has gone into a recovery phase. Your dog is basically an avoidance. They don't want to be around the decoy. They don't want to be in that training session, and now they're at a recovery phase being unresponsive. So that's how you recognize those things. And if you look into them and you say, oh, my dog has got, he's fearful of the vacuum cleaner every time we turn it on, and your dog runs and hides, or fireworks or whatnot, then you can start building on how to fix it, how to desensitize them to whatever it is that's causing them to go into recovery. Same thing with leash reactivity. If your dog is constantly being aggressive towards people, dogs, or even you or the leash, you got to understand that's reactivity. So once you understand it's reactivity, then you can start to progress forward to fix your situation. So that is our nutshell of the 4 levels your dog operates in, just like a stick shift in a car. And you just got to know which level is your dog operating in, so you know how to approach them, whether it be training or just an everyday life situation. This video was made for people who are not dog trainers, but for them to understand how to operate your dog. Once you know what level your dog is working in, then you know what you need to do to combat that, whether it be good or bad, but to fix it or to enhance on it. So you got, again, we'll get out of here, but just remember your dog operates unresponsive, responsive, reactivity, or recovery. And if you know your dog is operating one of those, it's going to be easy to fix or easy to encourage the behavior that you're doing with them to get to the next level. Thank you guys for watching Madisonville Canine. We'll put out more videos. Hit the like button, share this thing, anything you got going on, and we look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Thanks and have a good one.
Madisonville German Shepherd.